I work as a pool attendant in Reykjavik. A tourist refused to shower naked before entering the geothermal water, insisting his swim trunks were self-sanitizing fabric. When I pointed to the hygiene rules, he scoffed. "Buddy, American textiles have antimicrobial freedom fibers that Europe hasn't invented yet." We revoked his pass immediately. My brother manages a convenience store in Tokyo. An American tried to throw a pizza box into the recycling bin, jamming the mechanism. When confronted, he claimed, "Universal trash physics applies everywhere. Cardboard is basically paper's elder cousin." He lectured my brother on waste management while holding up the line for 10 minutes. My aunt owns a cafe in Rome. A woman ordered a cappuccino at 4 p.m. and demanded it be served with a pickle. She argued, "The acidic brine activates the espresso beans, it's a trend in Seattle." When refused, she claimed Italian coffee laws were stifling culinary innovation and threatened a review. I am a traffic warden in Berlin. I stopped a man from crossing on a red pedestrian light when no cars were coming. He shouted, "Jaywalking is a pedestrian's birthright under international common law." He insisted that waiting for the green man was a sign of submissive European driving culture. My cousin drives a tuk-tuk in Bangkok. A passenger tried to rest his feet on the dashboard near a religious amulet. When asked to stop, the man said, "Feet elevation aids circulation in tropical climates. It's a medical necessity." He argued that spiritual statues actually prefer relaxed passengers, citing a non-existent Buddhist text. Today, we are looking at 40 distinct times Americans tried to export their reality to the rest of the world, only to hit a cultural brick wall. Let's get into it. I work at a public library in Helsinki. An American guy started a conference call on speakerphone in the silent reading room. He told me, "Silence suppresses creativity, and I'm generating global synergy here." He claimed Finnish silence was actually a historical error caused by long winters and continued shouting buzzwords until security arrived. My uncle serves on a homeowner's board in Zurich. A new tenant flushed his toilet at midnight, violating the noise curfew. He argued, "My digestive system operates on Eastern Standard Time, so your laws don't apply to my biology." He presented a doctor's note written on a napkin as an official exemption. My sister works security at Singapore's airport. She confiscated chewing gum from a traveler who insisted it was medicinal jaw therapy. He claimed, the Singapore gum ban was actually overturned by the Geneva Convention on Oral Fixation. He tried to chew the evidence before we could file the official paperwork. I manage a small hotel in Seville. A guest demanded we open the pool during siesta hours, calling our rest time laziness. He stated, "The solar maximizer theory proves midday swimming burns twice the calories." He tried to pick the lock, insisting he was liberating the water from Spanish bureaucracy. My brother works in a Parisian bakery. A tourist walked in, didn't say bonjour, and demanded a croissant immediately. When ignored, he yelled, "Transactional efficiency supersedes pleasantries in the modern economy." He claimed French politeness was just a barrier to commerce and threw a euro coin on the counter before leaving. My cousin is a tour guide in Bhutan. A man tried to smoke a cigarette outside a temple, which is strictly illegal. He argued, tobacco smoke is traditionally used to cleanse spirits in the Appalachians. He insisted his American brand was organic enough to count as incense, offending 3 monks nearby. I am a bus driver in Oslo. A passenger sat directly next to the only other person on an empty bus. When the local moved away, the American said, "I'm bridging the Nordic social gap with aggressive friendship." He claimed creating uncomfortable proximity was the only way to thaw the frozen Norwegian soul. My father runs a jewelry shop in Dubai. A customer tried to hug him over the counter to seal a deal. When my father recoiled, the man said, "Physical touch builds trust equity in high-stakes negotiation." He claimed the handshake was obsolete and tried to initiate a fist bump with a sheep. My friend works at a university in Seoul. An American student refused to bow to a professor, calling it submissive posturing. He argued, "My neck vertebrae are aligned for vertical integrity, not hierarchical dipping." He tried to high-five the dean instead, claiming it was the universal gesture of academic equality. I work at a post office in Stockholm. A man tried to cut the queue, holding a number ticket he found on the floor. He shouted, "Possession is 9/10 of the law, and I possess the priority number." He claimed Swedish queuing theory didn't account for American initiative and refused to move. My uncle is a ramen chef in Osaka. A tourist loudly slurped his noodles, then apologized sarcastically. When told slurping is actually good, he stopped doing it. He argued, "Reverse psychology dictates I must now eat silently to prove my independence." He ate the rest of the meal one noodle at a time. I am a waiter in Mumbai. A guest demanded a fork for his roti, refusing to use his right hand. He stated, "Manual food handling is a vector for chaotic bacteria, regardless of hand washing." He claimed using metal utensils was a requirement of his insurance policy back home in Ohio. My cousin owns a trattoria in Naples. A customer demanded Parmesan cheese for his seafood linguine. When refused, he said, "Dairy acts as a binding agent for marine proteins, ask any chemist." He pulled a packet of Kraft cheese from his pocket and sprinkled it on the plate, ruining the dish. My sister manages a bistro in Lyon. A diner sent back her steak tartare because it was raw. She insisted, "Tartare is just a fancy French word for charred medium well." She claimed we were trying to serve her unfinished groceries and demanded access to our microwave to fix the chef's mistake. I run a tea house in Chengdu. A tourist tapped his fingers on the table to thank me, but used one finger aggressively. When corrected, he said, "One finger represents the singular focus of American gratitude." He claimed the two-finger tap was actually a secret triad signal he read about on a blog. My brother works at a taqueria in Mexico City. A man asked for a hard-shell taco and complained about the soft corn tortillas. He argued, "Structural rigidity is essential for taco integrity, this is just a floppy salad." He tried to toast the tortilla with a lighter to make it crunchy. My aunt runs a restaurant in Addis Ababa. A group refused to share the communal plate, demanding individual saucers. The leader stated, "Communal eating violates the principle of individual caloric sovereignty." He tried to build a wall of injera bread to segregate his portion of the stew from his friends. I own a street food cart in Hanoi. A tourist asked for his pho without broth, effectively wanting a dry noodle salad. He claimed, "Hydro-heavy breakfasts dilute the metabolism for the day." He insisted the soup was just filler, to hide the lack of meat, and demanded a discount for the liquid. My cousin is a waiter in Lisbon. A couple ate all the appetizers placed on the table, then refused to pay for them. The man argued, "If it's on the table, it's under the jurisdiction of the free sample statute." He claimed charging for unordered bread was a violation of international hospitality treaties. My mother manages a pizzeria in Sao Paulo. A tourist ate his pizza with his hands, getting grease everywhere. When offered a knife and fork, he laughed. Utensils are for people who fear the visceral pizza experience. He wiped his hands on the tablecloth, claiming it added rustic character to the establishment. I am a driving instructor in London. An American student kept turning right on red lights during a lesson. He argued, "The spirit of the red light allows for efficient flow if the coast is clear." He claimed the British left side driving naturally inverted the traffic laws, making his turn perfectly legal. My uncle repairs bikes in Amsterdam. A tourist walked directly in the bike lane and yelled at cyclists to go around. He stated, "Pedestrians have right-of-way in all civilized geometrical planes." He claimed the bike path symbols were merely suggestions for wheeled hobbyists, and refused to step onto the sidewalk. My cousin patrols the Autobahn in Germany. He pulled over a car going 80 km/h in the left lane. The driver argued, "I'm regulating the speed for safety, acting as a pace car for the nation. He claimed driving fast was a symptom of European impatience, and he was teaching everyone a lesson. I work as a station attendant in Kyoto. A group of tourists had a loud party on the train. When asked to be quiet, one said, "We are celebrating the journey, and joy cannot be silenced by transit rules." He claimed his volume was actually within standard decibel limits for vacation excitement. My brother drives a taxi in Athens. A passenger nodded yes when he meant no, causing them to drive in circles. The man insisted, "The vertical nod is a biological universal for agreement, your culture is confused." He refused to pay the extra fare, blaming the Greek anatomical misunderstanding. My sister sells rugs in a Marrakesh soup. A buyer refused to haggle, paying full price, then got angry later. He returned shouting, "You exploited my capitalistic efficiency." He argued that by not forcing him to bargain, we had robbed him of the authentic cultural struggle he had paid for. I am a park ranger in the Australian outback. A tourist tried to sit in the front seat of my Jeep, pushing me aside. He claimed, "The passenger seat is the rightful throne of the paying customer." He argued that sitting in the back was for cargo and subordinates, and refused to buckle up. My friend drives a rental shuttle in Dublin. A driver destroyed a tire hitting a curb on a roundabout. He yelled, "Roundabouts are designed to be taken in a straight line if you're fast enough." He claimed the curve was a civil engineering flaw, and demanded the rental company pay for his emotional distress. My aunt works at a clinic in Toronto. A patient refused to take off her shoes at the door of a house call. She argued, "Shoes provide structural support for the ankles, removing them is a liability." She walked across the clean carpet, claiming her boots were indoor-outdoor hybrid certified. I guide treks in Cusco. A hiker refused coca tea for altitude sickness, fearing a drug test. He stated, "I'll just use deep breathing to oxygenate my blood manually." He fainted 10 minutes later, claiming the mountain air was defectively thin and not up to international atmospheric standards. My cousin hosts a tea shop in Istanbul. A tourist refused the tea, asking for just hot water with lemon. He argued, "Tea leaves disrupt the body's natural hydration equilibrium." He claimed offering tea was aggressive hospitality and sat there drinking hot lemon water while everyone else enjoyed the ceremony. I work at the metro in Moscow. An American smiled at everyone on the train. When people looked at him suspiciously, he said, "I'm de-escalating the geopolitical tension with my facial muscles." He claimed Russians were allergic to joy and tried to force a frown-heavy grandmother to high-five him. My brother waits tables in Auckland. A diner insisted on tipping 25% despite the no-tipping culture. When my brother returned it, the man said, "I'm stimulating your local economy against your will." He hid the cash under a sugar bowl, claiming he was a financial philanthropist, saving us from socialism. My uncle owns a souvenir shop in Cairo. A tourist tried to pay in US dollars at a 1-to-1 ratio. He argued, "The dollar is the gold standard, so the exchange rate is irrelevant." He tried to walk out with a statue, claiming he was actually overpaying based on future inflation predictions. I manage a steakhouse in Buenos Aires. A couple arrived for dinner at 6 p.m. When they found us closed, the man banged on the door. He shouted, "Hunger does not wait for your nocturnal schedule." He claimed eating at 10 p.m. was medically inadvisable and demanded we open the kitchen early. These stories highlight a funny truth. Confidence doesn't equal competence, especially when you cross a border. We often assume our local rules are the default settings for the entire planet. But the world runs on thousands of different operating systems, and sometimes you just have to reboot your expectations. If you enjoyed these stories of cultural confusion, hit that like button and subscribe for more global misunderstandings. Have you ever witnessed someone confidently wrong in a foreign country? Drop your story in the comments below. I read every single one. See you in the next video.